Before I get started, I'll apologize right off the top that this isn't going to be as great as it normally is. And not to toot my own horn or anything like that, saying everything I say is great or anything. I'm just saying it's not going to be as involved as it normally is. Reason why is because I've been playing telephone tag all evening with my stepmother and my travel agent all about September's trip. I now think we finally have everything figured out, so I was able to enjoy Raw. And it was a mixed bag, to say the least. Right off the top, we start off with a 20-man over-the-top rope battle royal for the United States Championship. That's right, Dean Ambrose defending against 19 other guys. So we get past the first commercial break, and we play the game, everybody dumps the Big Show, and then everybody dumps Mark Henry, and then Ambrose tosses out Fandango, that sucked, and then Kofi's eliminated, Goldust is gone by an inadvertent whip-in courtesy of Cody, and then Cody's eliminated. Ziggler holds on, but he is eliminated by the Cobra of Santino, and that ends up angering the crowd. Curtis Axel gets eliminated. Excuse me. He gets an elimination, what I meant to say, on Santino. Ryback gets hit with a Finley roll from Sheamus. The axe handle on Curtis Axel, and Ryback goes for the powerbomb on Sheamus. He connects. Ambrose backdrops Axel over the top rope to the floor. Ryback and Ambrose trade punches on the ring apron, and a drop kick to the knee, and Ryback's gone. So Ambrose dumps Jack Swagger and eats the brogue kick. Sheamus tosses him out of the ring, and we have a new United States champion in Sheamus. It's a battle royal. As a famous internet reviewer said a long time ago, I don't rate battle royals. It was okay for what it was, and it was the only TV time that most of this roster got on the show, even though there were a lot of people in the battle royal that did double duty tonight. Triple H comes out at the end knowing that Ambrose no longer has the United States Championship. He says, "You were extremely lucky last night at Extreme Rules. It looks like your luck is changing with the U.S. title being taken off the waist of Dean Ambrose. And I can safely say that your luck has run out." So we get our first segment of the evening where Stephanie shows up. And basically, she is talking to Daniel Bryan and Brie. And, of course, Bryan is worried about Brie's safety. And Stephanie just says, "You know what? Stay in the back. We'll be fine. Don't worry about things. It'll be taken care of." So, where is this going to go? We obviously know that it's not going to end well. And it doesn't. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We get our first singles match of the evening. It is Rob Van Dam against Cesaro. Match was really good. Really snug match, like it always is with Cesaro and Van Dam. Come back from the commercial break, and the chinlock is applied. Van Dam elbows his way out, comes off the ropes, ducks the clothesline, and he goes for the wheel kick. He ducks it, and Van Dam with a sunset flip, 1-2, and a kick out, and stomp with a leaping double stomp, 1-2. Van Dam kicks out. Van Dam tries to roll up Cesaro in a small package, only gets a 2 count off of it. Cesaro stops momentum with a knee in the midsection, whip in, and gets caught with a body scissor roll up, 1-2, and that's it. Boot in the midsection, and a charging big boot goes up and springboard from Van Dam into the Swiss uppercut, 1-2, and a kick out. Hooks both legs, 1-2, and a kick out, and charges in with a Swiss uppercut in the corner, gets a 2 off of that as well. He nails the rolling deadlift side salto, gets a 2 off of that, locks on the chin lock yet again, and a forearm just drops Van Dam. Whip in and a tip up from Van Dam. Monkey flip, gets caught, tossed into the corner, charges in, gets the elbow up, goes up top, and he ends up getting swept, it's not even a word, swept off the top rope, and he gets his foot tangled in the top rope. So he's tied up in the corner. And he tries to get out by back kicking Cesaro in the face. And Cesaro rains down forearms on the face and the side of the head of Van Dam as the referee calls for disqualification. So Van Dam wins by DQ, and Cesaro continues the beating until Paul Heyman is the voice of reason and says that you don't need to get suspended. Calm down. So, definitely going to see this feud between Rob Van Dam and Cesaro continue. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be going on for a bit. Their next match of the evening is Ryback and Cody Rhodes doing double duty as well from the opening Battle Royal. And we talk about, like I said, right after the commercial break, Chinlock and Cody with a punch out. Gets caught with a spine buster, and his falling splash off the middle rope misses this time. Charges in, Cody gets the elbow up and nails the rebound lariat. Comes off the ropes, gets caught with the gorilla press, and he floats over, lands on his feet, and ends up drilling Ryback with a version of the Shining Wizard 1-2 and a kick out. Goes for Beautiful Disaster, gets caught with a powerbomb, and he lands on his feet out of that. Beautiful Disaster does connect, and he goes for the springboard missile dropkick. That connects, goes up top, and he gets caught. Shell shock on Cody after basically Goldust stopped Curtis Axel from getting involved. And inadvertently got whipped into the ring post, and that allowed basically a loss of balance from Cody, and that led to him getting hit with shell shock, and that was the end. So this will continue, this feud between the Brotherhood and Ryback. So no issues there, considering the fact that your other tag teams are involved in a feud right now, and the Usos, your tag team champions, weren't even on the show. So, Brie and Brian are talking in the back, the lights go out, and all of a sudden they see this, like, cane mask nightlight, and Brian and Brie run out of the room. They run into Stephanie, and Stephanie's like, you know what, stay put, we told you to stay put. So we get our next segment, and it ends up being Los Matadores and El Torito celebrating Cinco de Mayo. Torito tosses candy, and 3MB come out, says can't have a party without Trey MB. The party is here. This was a perfect way to bring out Adam Rose, but they didn't do it. Heath wants to call a truce. Jinder Mahal says this is America, speak English. That was funny in so many ways. Drew says this is not a request, it's a demand. If you don't accept our offer of peace, we will have to ruin your party. So many name drops of the word party. Just set up for Adam Rose, and they just didn't go with it. They could have. Torito offers candy as a peace offering to Hornswoggle, and he ends up getting it slapped into his face. They brawl a bit, and the Matadors double drop kick Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre out of the ring, leaving Heath Slater with Los Matadores, and when he realizes he is the only three-man band member in the ring with all the Matadors, he throws out the Olay, and he ends up getting tossed over the top rope to the floor. Torito breaks a sombrero over the head of Hornswoggle and gives him an airplane spin, and of course he puts on the sombrero himself, another one, not the broken one, and he gores Hornswoggle out of the ring. Yeah, this continues. So yeah, there's always that. Well, I don't mind this because, sometimes comedy's fine. This was alright. It was Cinco de Mayo, so obviously it was going to be some sort of a comedy gimmick, and that's exactly what it was. So we get our next match, and just like I called on the video last night for Extreme Rules, it's going to be a whole lot longer than this one. I can just tell right now by the way I'm talking, and we're so close to the end of the show right now. Kofi Kingston, who's going to take on Alexander Rusev, and of course Lana comes out and puts over Vladimir Putin yet again. It says putting over Putin, so that's what it says on my notes here. When we talk about the match, Kofi gets the upper hand momentarily, but he pretty much gets snuffed out with an overhead release belly-to-belly suplex, and Rusev rains down the elbows. Oh, by the way, Rusev's being called Rusev, like, by himself. His Chiron came up, and it said Rusev, that's it. It didn't say Alexander Rusev, even though Michael Cole called him Alexander Rusev, and I guess that's probably like calling Wade Barrett, not Bad News Barrett, so there's always that. Charges in, and he gets stopped by both boots in the face by Kofi, and he misses the charge in the corner. Dropkick to Rusev, staggers him, tosses him off, ducks the clothesline, and the double jump, flying body press. He kicks out at one. He actually pressed off at one. Ducks the clothesline, crossbody, and he tosses him up for the fallaway Samoan drop. Kofi lands on his feet and charges in, does Rusev, and he collides with the back kick in the corner. Springboard flying body press, gets caught into the fallaway Samoan drop. Swing side slam. steps on the spine, locks in the accolade, and that's the end. So, more of a squash. It's not as much of a squash as before, but Kofi got off a lot of offense in this match. I guess this is how it's going to be for a bit. So we're not going to see a majorly competitive match for Rusev for quite a while. Probably not until I'd say Money in the Bank, if I had to guess. I think we have one more like squash match at Payback, and then we go to Money in the Bank where there's some sort of a actual opponent for Rusev. Before we go into that. So, of course, we continue our horror movie mindset of this Kane and Daniel Bryan feud, and sure enough, we're getting more horror movie cliches by the truckload here. Bryan puts Brie in the vehicle, and they go to drive away, and Stephanie shows up with her heavy hand, and of course, slaps the glass and frightens Brie, just like you would in a horror movie, and says, "You can't leave, you have to compete, and if you don't compete, I consider this a breach of your contract, and you will be stripped of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship." Excuse me. So that match ends up being a very competitive match with Daniel Bryan against Alberto Del Rio. That match was actually not bad. Excuse me. We've seen like a shade of the old Alberto Del Rio back when he was actually getting pushed in this match, and wasn't bad. Bryan connects with the yes kick, goes to the buzzsaw, gets ducked, caught with the backstabber 1-2 and a kick out, and Del Rio with a drop kick, baseball slide style, knocks Bryan to the floor, tosses him hard in the barricade. We come back to live action from the commercial break, and of course, chin lock. Why am I not surprised? And Bryan elbows his way out, comes off the ropes, ducks the clothesline, goes for a German standing switch reversal, and German suplex on Bryan. Del Rio only gets a 2 count out of it. His step-up enziguri kick connects with the arm and not the back of the head for a change, and a foot choke in the corner. Cross-arm breaker locked in the ropes, and he breaks it 4, because, ironically enough, he's got 5, and it's funny because he's doing it against the person who said, "I got 5 back in the day." He goes up top, dives off, Bryan catches him with a shot at the chest, and gets a 2 off of that. Bryan works the leg, and Del Rio picks him up, and drops Bryan hard across the barricade, chest first, gets in the ring at 10, and spikes Bryan with a DDT. Drops the knee pad, going for the GSK, gets ducked, buzzsaw kick from Bryan, and they trade blows when they get back into a standing vertical base, and of course they also trade kicks. Whip in reverse, charges in, does Del Rio, gets caught with a drop toe in the middle turnbuckle, and Bryan kicks the middle rope, which of course ricochets back into the face of Del Rio. They trade kicks yet again, and Del Rio gets the upper hand, 4 big shoulder blocks in the corner, charges in with a clothesline in the corner, a huge, monstrous clothesline in the corner. Puts him on the buckle, climbs up, going for the superplex, and it gets blocked. Bryan with punches, and finally he headbutts Del Rio off, hits the swan dive headbutt, 1-2 and a kick out. Charges in with a drop kick, and then he does it again. Del Rio ends up going to the floor to try to break momentum. Bryan with a tope into the barricade, tosses him in, and he goes up top, gets caught off guard with a step-up enziguri kick from Del Rio, 1-2, Bryan kicks out. Goes for the cross-arm breaker, gets countered into the satellite, into the yes lock, or a version of Jimmy Raves from Dusk Till Dawn. And, of course, Del Rio taps out. So, a big win for the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. A really competitive match for Del Rio. This was the Del Rio of old, and it was nice to see, because we don't see the old Alberto Del Rio anymore. We see the guy who just jobs on a regular basis. This was actually the old Del Rio, and the match was really good. So, of course, not to be outdone, Kane triggers his own pyro, and basically Kane's music hits, and just like in a horror movie, Bryan and Brie run towards the fire. Literally, the fire that's in the Titantron of Kane. So they run to the back, they get in the vehicle. Of course, the vehicle doesn't start. It's like the Purge Anarchy. And I wrote horror cliche in parentheses here. Bryan checks on the vehicle to see if something's wrong, sees there's a wire that's disconnected, and when he shuts the hood of the vehicle, we see that Kane is in the back seat and grabs Brie, and of course, Bryan gets in there, opens the back door, gets kicked out by Kane, and Kane tosses Bryan onto the roof, and Bryan kicks him off, and Kane grabs Bryan to the sunroof, and Bryan gets back in the vehicle, and Bryan goes to speed away, and he does so, and knocks Kane off. Of course, Kane is left laying motionless on the ground, And of course, just like in a horror movie, Bryan gets out to check on the body. Kane sits up, and Bryan, of course, speeds off with Kane in pursuit. We are still building towards more matches between Daniel Bryan and Kane. I think this finishes at Payback, and I don't think it goes to Money in the Bank. I think Bryan is... I called an Inferno match, which I think would be a nice idea, but we haven't really seen a great Inferno match yet. Obviously, I'm going with the fact that we saw a flaming table at Extreme Rules last night. But what I'm thinking right now is something that has been brought up as a rumor right now, and that would be another Buried Alive match. I think that actually might happen. I think Kane will be buried alive by Daniel Bryan. That'll win the storyline, and of course that'll be justification for all the pain that Brie went through. So we get our next match. It is for the Intercontinental Championship. It is a rematch from last night's Extreme Rules. Last night's great match, Extreme Rules, between Bad News Barrett now defending against Big E. This match was good, as always. Barrett hits the Cactus Jack hip buster, of course yelling bang bang before he does it to Big E. They both get back in the ring at 8. We come back to live action with commercial break. Chinlock is applied from Barrett, and Big E elbows out, and an elbow to the back of the neck stops any Big E momentum. Charges in with a big boot in the corner, and basically his version of Sami Zayn's Haluva kick, and it misses, and we get the Big E special, which is clothesline, duck Barrett's clothesline, and belly-to-belly suplex. Goes for the big splash, and just like at Extreme Rules, Barrett got the knees up, 1-2, and a kick out. Caught him off the ropes, tilt-a-whirl into the big ending, gets countered, shoves off into Winds of Change, 1-2, and a kick out. Goes for Wasteland, gets countered, and momentum carries Barrett to the floor. He charges in with the same shoulder block he used in the Extreme Rules match, but Barrett gets the knee up, and he runs headfirst into the patella. Goes for the bullhammer, it ducks, and Big E with a Vader attack, and Barrett gets knocked loopy to the ring apron. He spears him through the middle rope to the floor, and tosses him back in 1-2. Barrett kicks out, so he nails the overhead release belly-to-belly suplex, and then does it again for good measure in the Intercontinental Champion. Drops the strap, sitting up for the big ending, and he gets countered by an eye rake from Barrett, basically blinding Big E temporarily for him to get mowed over by the bullhammer, and Bad News Barrett gets his first successful title defense of his newly won Intercontinental Championship. So yeah, it was a good match. I really enjoyed Big E and Wade Barrett as a match, honestly. They had a great match at Extreme Rules. I thought this was a good match too. So we had a really awesome promo, which was at the Hall of Fame, if you watched the ceremony, or you even listened to my recap I did of WrestleMania in the Hall of Fame, which is available here on the WWE pay-per-view playlist here on Pop. You will know that if there is one thing that is just as sure as death, taxes, and I'm going to Disney World every September for my birthday, there's another certainty in life, and that is the fact that Mr. T loves his mother. And of course, this is because Mother's Day is coming up this Sunday, and basically, Mr. T used his entire speech, his entire Hall of Fame induction speech, and put over his mom. So WWE, in their greatness, decided they wanted to take this and put it to a funky beat, and of course, splice in when Brodus Clay had the mother's dance, the Somebody Call My Mama. Yeah, it was really awesome. WWE, kudos to them on that one. So, earlier on in the night, the Wyatt family come out, and Bray cuts another incredible promo, and like I said, he's Mick Foley and Raven wrapped up into one, and he's phenomenal in every single way possible. He says, Abigail always told me that I was born to lead. She said that one day I would change the world, and I believed her. I always believed her, but this world, this horrible world we live in, has its wicked ways about it. They would always snub me, always look down on me. They would refer to me as a piece of trash. They referred to me as a nobody. And they don't even know it, but they have made this day so sweet for me. And oh, what a glorious day it is, because last night I became somebody. Last night John Cena's fear was personified by that of a singing child. Mighty John Cena cowering to a child? You can't fool the children, John, for they are the foundation of what tomorrow shall bring. Their ears are so eager to hear, their minds are so eager to learn, and they see right through you, John Cena. John Cena tells all of you that I am a monster, and he is right. I am a monster, and oh, how cruel I can be. He would also have you believe that my message, my honorable message, is nothing but lies, and I only want to watch the world burn. And I have to give it to you. You got it right again. I do want to watch the world burn. I want to watch the world burn as a farmer watches his spoiled crops burn so that they can rise up again. This world must be burned down so that it can be reborn, and it will be rebuilt in my image, the image of Wyatt. Yeah, man, John Cena thinks that all of this, I only do it for myself. And that, my friends, is where John Cena is dead wrong. I do it for the children, for the man who begs on the street because they didn't think he was smart enough to live in this world. I do it for the teenage girl who wakes up crying every morning because they didn't think she was beautiful enough to be the prom queen. I do this for each and every one of you. And on this day, each and every day passing forward, John Cena stands alone. And all of you can stand with me. And you will remember me not as a monster, but you will remember me for what I truly am, a god. And of course he sings he's got the whole world in his hands, and that's another awesomely cryptic promo. So, no John Cena tonight. Selling his sheer shock from last night's pay-per-view. And John Cena apparently will deliver his retort to Bray Wyatt tonight on Main Event on the WWE Network. So yeah, there's always that. So yeah, awesome stuff as always. And it looks to me like we're going to get 3 rematches at Payback. Bryan and Kane in, it looks like a Buried Alive match. But it could be a Ring of Fire match potentially. I don't know if that'll happen or not. Don't forget Kane and Bray Wyatt had an Inferno match at SummerSlam. So, I mean, and that didn't go very well. So who knows. And of course we're going to get a rematch. Between John Cena and Bray Wyatt. I don't know what kind of stipulation it's going to be. It could be anything. Maybe an I Quit match, potentially. Because it's going to be really weird to hear John Cena say I quit. I don't think that's going to happen, so you really can't do that match. You can, but it's kind of asking for it. And of course, Evolution and the Shield in some sort of stipulation match. We're really building towards War Games, folks. We really are. And I really think it's going to happen. Given the fact that the Shield and Evolution last night battled throughout the building, nothing could hold them in. I think that we're going to have a match. You know what? Honestly, another thing you could possibly do is do an Elimination Chamber with the Shield and Evolution. I know it's kind of a problem to do that because you have 6 pods and, yeah, you have 6 different members. So it would kind of be pointless, but who knows. Might be interesting to see how they do, like, randomly bring out a member of the Shield and then a member of the Wyatt family. Bring up a member of the Shield and a member of Evolution, and then you bring in, like, 2 members of Evolution, obviously 2-on-1, and then the Shield come in, and sometimes it might be 3-on-1. It could be interesting to see if they do that. So, I was really anticipating the in-ring WWE debut of Adam Rose and the Exotic Express tonight, and it didn't happen, actually. Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter come out, and Zeb is holding a sign that says Zeb's deportation list. And he goes through a lot of names, like, he's talking about Cinco de Mayo basically being an excuse for real Americans to get drunk. That celebrate that is just so they could get drunk and puke everywhere, basically, is what he said. So, the list is Cesaro and Paul Heyman, of course, they need to be deported. And Emma and Santino, they need to be deported. And then Sheamus and Paige, they need to be deported because they haven't been seeing the sun since 1997. So, then he starts to talk about partying, and then a very familiar song, or a WWE version of this familiar song, starts up. And sure enough, the party people are here with the bunny in tow, and everybody is out. And of course, in the middle of it all is Adam Rose himself. Finally makes his debut. So, basically, he's in the ring, and he's prancing around. He's sucking on a sucker like he's Kojak, like he always does. And of course, we get the whole experience. We get the crowd surfing and everything. Everything's there. And the only thing he really does with Swagger is Swagger ends up catching a boot in the face, and he just, like, tosses him over the top, so. He looks at Zeb, he's like, come on, Zeb, don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. Of course, he grabs the mustache when he does that. And then the party starts around Zeb. And Zeb just bombs out and the party continues. So yeah, that was an interesting debut for Adam Rose. It'd be interesting to see what happens when he actually wrestles in a WWE ring. I know Adam Rose is a great wrestler because I've been following him in NXT. And I've been following him since he was Leo Kruger. But I will say right now that you've not seen the awesomeness that is Adam Rose yet. So stay tuned. It's going to be some interesting stuff. So we get our next match, and it's our main event. It's the Shield against the Wyatt family 6-man tag. This match was good, like it always is. Midway through this match, Harper locks on the chin lock on Dean Ambrose. Ambrose, of course, jawbreakers out of it, and the snap jabs. Gets caught going for a kick, and basically Harper sweeps the leg Johnny, and he falls face first to the canvas, 1-2, and Ambrose kicks out, tagging to Bray Wyatt, boot to the head, and comes back in, gets a 2 off of that. The Vader cross faces and tags into Harper. Harper with a shot tags into Rowan. Rowan whips him chest first into the buckle. Whip in, charges up, and gets a boot. 2 big kicks to the head, tagging to Harper, and low bridge sends Rowan over the top. Low bridge sends Harper over the top, and tagging to Seth Rollins. No hands, tope con hilo on Harper and Rowan on the floor. And punches Bray Wyatt for good measure, ducks the clothesline, and catches him with a corkscrew hooking neck breaker off the ropes. Looked nice, by the way. Charges him with a forearm. He got caught, but he plants Harper into the buckle with the flatliner. Goes for the moonsault off the middle rope, lands on his feet, and nails a standing shooting star press, 1-2, and a kick out. Kicks Bray in the face for good measure, and he goes for a springboard, gets stopped, and basically gets shoved off the top rope to the floor by Luke Harper. So Harper with a tope into the table, knocking Seth Rollins over the table. Tosses him in, gets a 2 count off of it, and a big right hand drops Rollins, tagging to Bray. Nails the avalanche, Rollins kicks out again, tagging to Harper, knocks Roman Reigns off the ring apron for good measure, drags him out, lands on his feet. Basically what he does, he drags him out of the corner, he lands on his feet, and Harper's waiting there, bam, just nails him with a thrust kick. Ambrose makes a save before the 3 count, and Rowan comes in, he brawls with Ambrose on the floor, Harper puts Seth Rollins on the top, he gets headbutted off, and the knee strike off the top rope nails Harper flush in the jaw, hot tag into Roman Reigns is officially legal, and Bray Wyatt's tagged back in, ducks the clothesline, leaping clothesline, and a leaping clothesline on Eric Rowan for good measure, and charging clothesline, and a big right hand drops Bray. Nails the leaping, basically gets a cactus clothesline on Eric Rowan, and turns around and nails Bray with a leaping drop kick to the side of the head while Bray was across the middle rope. And basically, stereo topes from the Shield onto the Wyatt family. As always, charging clothesline and a big avalanche by Bray Wyatt gets stopped with a Superman punch from Roman Reigns. And they go for the Cerberus bomb, gets stopped with the music of Evolution. They come out. Dave got the memo this week. He's wearing black. So Evolution comes out, and the topes connect with Evolution, and basically Ambrose and Rollins are down on the floor, and a Superman punch to Triple H, and Roman Reigns runs into the Fall of Humanity and eats Sister Abigail for the 3 count. The Wyatt family win this, and after the match is over, basically there's a decimation of the Shield to pay them back for what happened at Extreme Rules. There's a snakebite DDT by Orton in the corner on Seth Rollins, and Batista with the weakest looking spinebuster I've ever seen in my life on the ring steps. But again, I guess I understand given the fact that it's dangerous as all get out doing a spinebuster on the ring steps. So, as dangerous as it may be, it still looked kind of bad. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to have done it. I would have not done that spot, to be totally honest. It's Triple H with the pedigree set up on Roman Reigns. He backdrops out of it, and he walks into the RKO. And Triple H is like, forget you, I'm going to do this anyway. And he pedigrees Roman Reigns. Roman left busted open, hard way from the mouth, and they pick up Roman Reigns in the ultimate sign of disrespect. They Cerberus bomb Roman Reigns, and they throw out the fists, and that's how we go home. So, a mixed episode of Raw. 20-man Battle Royal, because I don't rate Battle Royals, but it was okay. It was a Battle Royal, so it was always that. The horror cliche stuff with Bryan and Kane, hopefully they do something different with this. Van Dam and Cesaro had a really good match. I'm interested to see these two with a lot more time and a good program. Ryback gets a win over Cody Rhodes, so the Rhodes slump continues. Rusev squashes Kofi Kingston, and Los Matadores and El Torito party until they are interrupted by 3MB. And of course, we get a brawl out of that. That feud is definitely far from over. So, we got a really good match between Alberto Del Rio and Daniel Bryan, a really good match between Bad News Barrett and Big E, and a really enjoyable main event with the Wyatt family and The Shield. So yeah, that was a great way to end the show. Like I said, this video's all over the place, but yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully the video will be better next time. So that was Raw this week, and in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, and help spread the word about Pop. If you'd like our Facebook fan page, go ahead and like our Facebook fan page, Sir Owen Disney Pop. If you want to send me a friend request on Facebook, go ahead, it's Owen Disney. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. And last but certainly not least, you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions, talk wrestling with me, Disney, Universal, Halloween Horror Nights, anything under the spectrum, or you want to be a podcaster yourself, send your videos and your commentary to SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, I do want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching this very disjointed video, and I'm very sorry about that, but I'll make up for it later, I promise you. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.